Introductory session of ISTQB Foundation level from YesM Systems.
Okay, good morning everybody guys. Let's start with our demo session today. So welcome all of you to the first introductory session of ISTQB Foundation level. Okay, so first of all, let's see what is ISTQB. Now ISTQB, the long form of this is International Software Testing Qualification Board, and that's nothing but it's a non-profit organization, and the members of this organization are nothing but the software testing professionals, and they are from around 38 countries now. And presently there are two levels of exams that are being offered by ISTQB. The first level of exam is nothing but the foundations level certification, that is nothing but the CTFL, which is nothing but certified tester foundation level. Now this is the only one foundation exam that is being offered by ISTQB. This is the entry level certification that is meant for people that are entering the field of testing, new to the field of testing, and also for the experienced professionals that are desiring to move up the ladder to the ISTQB certification. The second type of certification is nothing but the advanced level certification, and the name of this certification is nothing but Certified Tester Advanced Level, that is CTAL. And there is some eligibility criteria for this particular certification, and the criteria is that you should be a foundation level certified, and also you should have 5 years of work experience in the software testing field. Now all of the rest of the discussion that we will be doing today will be based on the foundation level certification, that is CTFL. Okay, so this foundation level certification, it basically offers the confidence that the particular certified person, he has a broad understanding of the various key concepts and the fundamental best practices that are being used in software testing. So he is very well acquainted with all these key concepts and fundamental concepts of software testing. This is what the foundation level certification shows. Now why should anybody go for this certification? Now say you are a fresher, or say you are from a non-technical background, and you are trying to get a job in the software testing industry, then this certification, it will definitely help you in getting the job in the software testing field. So just think about it, that if suppose I am an employer, then I do not have any other parameters on which I can judge you. So this certification, then it falls, becomes a good start point for me in order to judge you, if at all you are from a non-technical field, or say from a non-testing field. Suppose on the other hand you are an experienced professional, and say you are looking for a job change, then this certification, it will definitely help embellish your resume. So this certification, it basically helps both the freshers in the testing field as well as the experienced people in the testing field. Both of them, they can take the advantage of this ISTQB certification. Now let's see what are the various features of this ISTQB exam are. This is nothing but the knowledge based exam, of course, and the applicant, he is not required to have any software testing experience. As I said, if you're from the non-technical field or from the non-testing field, then you can very well go for this exam. And no recertification is required, because this particular certification has got a lifetime warranty. So it's valid for the lifetime. So you don't need to be recertified again in a particular period, or there are certain certifications which need you to again do the recertification after certain period of time, say 4 years, 5 years. But this certification, it doesn't have any such bounding, so it's just valid for lifetime, so no recertification is required. And so these are various features, and let's see what is the structure of this CTFL exam. Now this particular exam, it consists of 40 multiple choice questions, and it's an 1 hour test, and each question, it's a multiple choice question, so every question has got 4 possible answers, out of which only 1 is the correct answer. So only 1 and 1 is the correct answer, so you just have to choose one of those possible answers. Okay, and every question has got 1 point for the correct answer. There's no negative marking for this particular exam. Now basically this ISTQB exam, it uses 2 question formats. First is the basic format, wherein the question is asked and 4 options are given to you, out of which you need to choose just one correct option. So it's just a basic option, a question is given and 4 options will be given, you need to choose just one option. So that's nothing but your basic format. The Roman format, it may include various statements in the question stem itself, and there will be 4 response options, and there will be choices for certain key answers, and that are based on the various combination of statements in the questions. So that's nothing but your Roman format. We will be taking examples of basic format and Roman format later in the session. Okay, and the passing score for this particular exam is 65% or more. That is, you need to score at least 26 points out of 40 for passing this exam. The exam fees are $250, and if at all you don't clear the exam, and that's never a possibility if you take our course, but if at all you need to take a re-exam, the re-examination fee is the same, that is $250. And this exam can be taken as a public-based exam, or it could be taken as an electronic-based exam, that is a computer-based exam. So public-based exam is nothing but the venue of the exam and the date of the exam, everything is fixed, and you need to go to that particular center at that particular date, and you need to appear for the exam. It's a paper-based exam. You'll be given a paper, and that's a question sheet, and then you need to mark the correct answers by using a pencil. That's nothing but a public-based exam. And in the computer-based exam, you basically need to schedule in any of the Prometric centers near your area, and then you need to go to that particular Prometric center, and you will be allotted a computer for 1 hour duration, and then you need to give your exam over the computer, and you will get the results immediately. For a paper-based exam, you will get the results like within a month or so, but for a computer-based exam, you'll get the result sheet immediately. But the later from the ISTQB as such, you'll get it within like 3 to 4 weeks of time. But the result as such, the score for your exam, you'll get it immediately for the computer-based exam. But for the paper-based, it's not the case. You'll get everything within a month's period. Now let's see this basic format. Now let's take an example from the paper itself. What principle is best described when test designs, they are written by the third party? There are 4 options that are given here. First is interoperability testing, second is independent testing, third is exploratory testing, and fourth is integration testing. Now there are 4 options, as you can see here, answer options that are given here. Now here the correct option, it's nothing but your key option, and the incorrect answers, they are usually called as the distractors. Okay, so you need to correctly identify between these key options and the distractors. So you need to first see the emphasized words in the questions. Like here, as you can see, best is an emphasized word. There could be other emphasized words in other questions, like there could be key, there could be major, main, or more, least, likely. These could be some of the keywords that could be included in the basic format type of question. So you need to see those key characters, or you need to see those emphasized question. You need to see those emphasized words in your question in order to get you to the correct answer. Second is the Roman format. Now Roman format, it basically consists of two types of Roman formats. First is Roman format simple and second is Roman format complex. Now let's see what's this Roman format simple. Now let's take an example. Which type of defects they are easier to find using static instead of dynamic testing? Then as you can see here, there are four statements in the question itself. First is requirements defects, insufficient maintainability. Third is incorrect interface specifications, and fourth is deviation from standards. And the answer options are given to you. Okay, so those are nothing but the number of true statements from the question statements itself. So as you can see here in Roman format, the question itself has got four statements which are labeled as Roman 1, 2, 3 and 4. They could be anything. They could be small Roman 1, 2, 3, 4. They could be STUV. They could be WXYZ. They could be anything. But they are the four statements that could be labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And all the statements, and you need to identify which of the statements from the question are either true or they are false, or all of them are true or all of them are false. So there could be a case where all the statements might be true or all the statements might be false, or the combination of statements, they could be true or false. So you need to identify those statements, correct statements from the example. As per the question may say which type of defects are not easier to find, then there could be different set of statements which could be correct, or which type of defects they are easier to find. Those could get you to different set of statements. So as per the question, you need to identify the different combination of statements as whether they are true or whether they are false. Okay, so the correct answer is nothing but the one that fully and accurately it describes the truthfulness of the statement. So exact truthfulness of statement is being described by the statements that are being given in the question format. Okay. The next is nothing but the Roman format complex. Now this is somewhat difficult format. Now this, as you can see, is nothing but match the following types that we used to do in the school. This is this type of format that we are talking about. Now let's take an example of this. Now which tests they are based described by the following characteristics. First statement that is given is component testing, second is integration testing, third is alpha testing, fourth is robustness testing. And as I said, match the following. So the second column, it consists of four statements again: testing the interaction between the components, fixing the defects as soon as they are found, automating the test cases before coding, and fourth is testing separately the testable components. Okay, so this type of question is nothing but match the following. So you need to match the exact statements STUV with the statements 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's nothing but your answer options that have been given here: S1, T4, U3, V2. That's nothing but your answer options. So you need to match exactly the statements, the first set of statements like STUV with the second set of statements 1, 2, 3, 4. That's nothing but your Roman format complex. Now let's take an overview of the syllabus. Now this syllabus basically consists of 6 topics. We'll be seeing the learning objectives of every topic later on in the slides. Now this syllabus, it's the learning objectives of this syllabus, they are divided into 4 knowledge levels. First is the those knowledge levels, they are named as K1, K2, K3 and K4. Now K1 is the one which just checks your basic knowledge and your remembering ability of any testing concept. So that's nothing but it falls under the basic format that we just discussed. K2 is nothing but it checks your ability to compare something, to classify something, or say to summarize something. So the question could be what is the difference between debugging and testing. So here you need to know the comparison between testing and debugging. So that's nothing but comparison. So that's nothing but your K2 level. K3 level, it's checking your ability to how you apply the knowledge, how you analyze the particular thing, how you apply the knowledge. So this particular K3 level, it involves numericals, which is our fourth chapter. Then fourth level is the K4 level. Here you are checked against how you break down the information into various parts, how you examine that particular information, how you select the various parts, relevant parts, and how you understand the structure of the various information that's being provided in the question. That's nothing but your K4 level. Okay, so K1 level, as I said, it falls under your basic multiple choice question format, your basic format. K2 and K3 type of questions, they are mostly the Roman type format. K3 types of questions, they involve lots of diagrams, or say they may involve some of the programming codes. So it involves mostly the numericals form. So roughly 50% of the questions in your paper are K1 level questions, 30% they are the K2 level, and 20% questions they are at the K3, or they could be at the K4 level. So maximum questions, as you can see, they are at the K1 level. Okay, so this is the breakdown of the various exam questions, and it's a chapter wise breakdown. As you can see here, there are 6 topics, and for every chapter I have just given you the breakdown for the K1, K2, K3 and K4 labels. So K3 and /K4, so that could be a K3 question or that could be a K4 question. So in all there are 40 questions. As you can see, 20 questions they are the K1 level questions, 12 questions could be the K2 level questions, and 8 questions could be the K3 or the K4 level questions. So this is not an accurate chapter wise breakdown, but it's an approximate breakdown of the exam questions. Now let's see what are the let's take an overview of the various learning objectives that we are going to study in our syllabus. Okay, so the first chapter that we are going to see is nothing but the fundamentals of testing. Now this particular chapter, it looks into various learning objectives, like why testing is necessary. So here we will see with examples as to how the defects in the software, they can cause harm to a person, or say to an organization, or to an environment. We'll be seeing lots of examples on that. Then we'll be studying the various root causes of the defects and what are their effects on the various environments. And we'll see how the testing, it's a part of quality assurance. We'll be seeing this with some of the examples. Then in the next learning objective, what is testing, we will be studying some of the common objectives of testings. Then what is debugging, what's the difference between testing and debugging. Then we'll be seeing the 7 testing principles that provide the guidelines and that are used commonly for all the testing activities. We'll be studying those 7 testing principles. Then we will be seeing the 5 fundamental test activities and what are the tasks that are involved with each fundamental test activity, from planning to closure, what are the various activities that take place. Then we'll see the various psychological factors that contribute to the success of testing. Then lastly, we will see what is independent testing, what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages. And then we will see the code of ethics, which outlines the ethical behavior that is expected from all of the certified software testing professionals. Then the next chapter that we will see that is nothing but testing throughout the software life cycle. So here we will be studying the various development models, like the waterfall model or the V model, the incremental model. We'll see the various advantages, disadvantages of those models. Then we will see the characteristics of good testing for any software development model. We will compare the different levels of testing based on their objectives or typical targets of testing, or the types of defects that are identified at each level. So we'll be studying these test labels in detail. Then we'll see what are the various test types, like functional, non-functional, structural, or say the change-based. Yes, we will be discussing the questions later on. Once I finish this demo session, I'll be opening the session for the questions. Okay. Okay, so we will be studying these test types and we'll be seeing the comparisons between these test types with various examples. Then we'll see like what is confirmation testing, what is regression testing, what is the purpose of these types of testing, and we'll see the comparison between these two types of testing. Then lastly, we will see what is maintenance testing, and we'll just compare it to a new application testing with respect to test types, triggers for testing, and the amount of testing that is necessary. Then we'll describe the role of regression testing and impact analysis in maintenance testing. So this is all we'll be studying in the second chapter. Let's see what we'll be studying in the third chapter is nothing but the static testing chapter. We'll be studying what is static testing, what is dynamic testing, what is the difference between these two techniques, then what is the various importance of static techniques for the assessment of the software work products. Then we'll be studying here one of the main static techniques in detail, that is nothing but reviews. Here we will see what are the various types of reviews and what are the differences between those types of reviews. What are the various roles and responsibilities of any formal review. We'll explain the factors that are important for the successful performance of the reviews. And then lastly, we will see the static analysis by tools. Here we'll be seeing what is static analysis, what is its objective. We will study the typical defects that are discussed by or that are discovered by using the static analysis tools. The fourth chapter that we will be studying, it's nothing but the test design techniques. Now here we will study what is the test case specification, the test design specification, the test procedure specification, what is the difference between all these three specification types. Then we will see the various terms like the test condition or the test cases, or say the test procedures. We'll see the comparison between all these terms. And then here we will be also studying the specification based and structural based test approaches to design the test case, and we'll be seeing the various techniques that are used for to design such test cases, like the black box testing techniques, like the boundary value analysis, the equivalence partitioning, or say the decision table testing, the state transition testing, say, or the use case testing. We'll be also studying the various white box testing techniques like the statement coverage or the decision coverage. Then we'll be seeing what is the experience based testing, and what are the various experience based techniques, what are their types. Then we'll be lastly comparing the various experience-based techniques with the black box testing techniques, and then we'll be seeing what are the various factors that influence the selection of appropriate test design techniques depending upon the various factors like the types of risk or the customer requirements or the time and the budget constraints. So we'll be seeing those factors. Then this is the most important chapter, this test design techniques from exam point of view. It's got lot of weightage because it's got lot of numericals. So we will be spending lots of time on this chapter. We will be taking lots and lots of examples on various techniques that we will be studying. Then the fifth chapter, that is nothing but the test management. Here we will be first of all seeing what is independent testing. We'll be studying independent testing in the first chapter, but that will be just a short description of independent testing. Here we will be studying independent testing in detail. We'll be seeing its importance, its advantages, drawbacks within any organization, and we'll be seeing who are the different team members that are actually involved in order to form a test team. So you have you got here just two team members, the test manager and the tester for your syllabus. So we'll be seeing what is a test manager, what is a tester, and what are the various tasks associated with these team members. Then we'll be seeing the different objectives and the different levels of test planning, and also we'll be seeing the estimating, like how estimating is done and what it involves and what it basically costs. The scope and the budget part will be studied. We'll be also seeing the various estimation techniques here, and the various factors that affect the testing effort. Then we'll be studying the test progress monitoring and control part. Here we'll be seeing the various metrics that are used for monitoring the test preparation and the execution phase, and also the various metrics that are used for reporting and controlling. Then we'll be seeing what is a test summary report, what is its purpose, and what is the content of this test summary report according to the IEEE standards. Then we'll come to the most important part of this chapter, that is risk and testing. Here we'll be seeing what is risk, what are the various types of risk, and like the project risk, the product risk, and we will see the difference between this project risk and product risk. Then we will see the various levels of risk and what are the various risk management options for any type of risk. Then lastly, we'll be studying the incident management, wherein we'll see what is an incident, what are the incident reports, what are their purposes, how to write a good incident report, then what is the content of an incident report according to the IEEE standards. And lastly, we'll be studying this bug report cycle, or the incident report life cycle, like what happens once a bug is or once an incident was reported after you file them, and once it's fixed. So that whole cycle is described here in the incident or the bug report life cycle. Then the last chapter of the course is nothing but tool support for testing. Here we will be describing the various tool types in terms of their general functionality. We won't be going into lots of detail. We will not be mentioning any commercial tools in this chapter. We will be just describing the various tool types in terms of their general functionality. Okay, so here we will be seeing the various types of tools, like the management tools. In that we'll be studying the requirement management tools or the configuration management tools. We'll be seeing the various characteristics of those tools. Then we'll be studying the static testing tools. In that we'll be seeing the modeling tools, the static analysis tools. Then we'll be seeing the test specifications tools, or the performance tools, the monitoring tools, and we'll be studying the characteristics for each of these tools. Then we will see the various benefits that are there for using the tools. What are the various risks of using the tools? We'll be studying the different scripting techniques for this test execution tools. Then we'll see what are the various factors that are important in selecting a tool for any organization, or what is a pilot project, what is the purpose of this pilot project, and what are the various factors that contribute to the success of this any testing tool that is being introduced in the organization. So this is all we will be studying. This is all is the syllabus. Now let's see what all, how much time we will be taking for this course to complete, and how our course structure will be. Okay, give me a minute. I'll just open the. Okay, are you guys able to see the Excel sheet here? Okay, so as you can see here, this will be our course structure. We'll be studying all the learning objectives with various examples and question answer series and everything. And once we finish the chapter, I'll be giving you the glossary terms that are being asked for the exam, that are being important for the exam. I'll be giving you the list of those glossary terms with their definitions once we finish the chapter. And once we are done with all these things, there will be a chapter test that is conducted after every chapter. That will be a 30 minutes test. 25 questions will be asked in every test. Okay, and that would help you judge. That would help me to judge you, judge your performance for every chapter. So we'll be having a chapter test after every chapter. So this is nothing but an approximate duration that we'll be taking for every chapter. And once we finish all the chapters, I'll be scheduling 5 mock exams. That's nothing but that will be an exact replica of your real exam. So I'll be conducting 5 mock exams same day. So that is nothing but 1 hour exam, and it will have 40 points and everything. So I'll be arranging those exams as well. So approximately it's around 30 to 34 hours uh, duration course. So I'll be finishing off this course by within a month. Okay, so this is what our class structure is going to be. Now let's open the session for the question answer series. Okay, you can discuss the course fees, the schedule for the course, everything with Nandu. Once we finish our demo session, Nandu will provide you with all the information. What's the waiting period for the exam to take at the centers? Do you mean the public-based exam or the computer-based exam? For the computer-based exam, as we schedule a doctor's appointment online, it's exactly the same. You get a list of prometric centers around your area, like 5 miles or 10 miles, and then you can go to their website and they show you the calendar and everything and the time slots that are available, and from that you can select the appropriate time slot that's suitable for you. That's nothing but the prometric prometric based exam, that is the computer based exam. For the public based exam, the centers will be provided provided to you. It's currently there on your astqb.org site. They have provided you with the various locations where they are going to take the public based exams and what the timings are going to be and what the dates are going to be. Everything is mentioned on that website. Yeah, this will be an online class, total online class. Yeah, as I said, this certification, it will really form a good start point for you if you are a fresher or if you are from a non-technical field. Okay, so it will definitely help you for getting a good job in the testing phase. And the website's name is www.astqb.org. Yes, same way. If you are from the non-technical field or from a non-testing field, this certification it will have, because it covers all the basic things that you need to work in any organization. All the basic key concepts, theoretical concepts that you need to know for working in any of the organizations. So this course basically covers all of those concepts. So yes, I did give the schedule when we are going to start the class and how many days we are going to have a class, for how many hours. Everything you can discuss that with Nandu. Nandu will let you know about the schedule for the class. Okay? Any questions, guys? Everybody has scored above 85%, at least above 80%. All the students now, there are around, I think, 30 to 35 students who have already appeared for the ISTQB exam, and everybody has scored above 80% in the ISTQB certification. Yes, this is more of a theoretical paper, theoretical course, you can say it. So it also involves numericals, as I said. All the black box techniques and white box techniques that are used very, very commonly in the organization nowadays. We'll be studying those in detail in this course. So everything that is needed for you to enter into the testing field, or if whoever who is currently in the testing field needs to revise or needs to brush up his testing concepts, or need to know more testing concepts, this course really will help you a lot. Extra sessions, as in, I don't think you need to take any extra sessions. I mean, this course is more than sufficient. It covers all the basic things that you need to know. So you don't have to worry on that part. the first chapter, it covers all the basic concepts that you need to know for the for any organization. So don't worry on that part. Any questions, guys? Nandu will be, once you show the interest in taking the course, Nandu will be emailing you with the schedule, and also he'll be emailing you the fees and everything for the course. Yes, for the third and the fourth chapter, you'll be having lots of homework. There's lots of numericals I'll be giving you for practice. So, yeah, expect lot of homework. Yes, the Roman complex and as well as the Roman basic, they are a little bit tricky questions. Even the basic format questions. This exam is basically, as it is a multiple choice exam, you just need to choose a single answer. So it's basically a tricky exam. So the questions are somewhat may jumble you up in the exam. So you need to read everything very thoroughly, and your concept should be very, very clear in order to attend this exam. Because for the subjective exam, you can write pages and pages for any of the testing concept. But for the objective exam, you need to know exactly the information in order to answer any question. So, and the questions are quite tricky in the exam. So we'll be taking lots of practice in the class. That will sure develop your confidence. I can guarantee you that. No, even if, as I said, even if you are a fresher, even if you don't have any prior testing experience, you can first of all appear for this ISTQB course, and then you can apply for the job. If at all you are in the, if you are currently in the testing job, and this certification, it will definitely be an addendum to your resume. Whether you are a fresher, whether you are from non-technical field, or whether you are currently working in the testing field. For everybody, this course, it will help. No, there's no way, we don't have any recorded sessions for this course. So if at all you miss a session, then you miss a session. There's no option that you can make up for that particular class. But I sent you PPTs. I provide you with PPTs for every learning objective. So I email those PPTs once you finish the session. So you can go through those PPTs, and if at all you've got any problems, then you can approach me anytime. But we don't have any recorded sessions, unfortunately. So there's no way that you can make up for that particular session. Sorry for that. For the previous courses, we used to have it for 3 days a week, and it was like 1.5 hours. And for the third and the fourth chapter, it was quite flexible. It got extended for 2 hours, or maybe for 2.5 hours, or 3 hours. So it depends how do we go with the course. But to start with, it was thrice a week and 1.5 hours. Thrice a week is fixed, the days are fixed, the timings are also quite fixed, but they may be flexible. The timings, they may be flexible for the third and the fourth chapter. Any questions, guys? So go through the website, and you will get a more idea about this course, about this certification. And as I said, you can email me with any sort of questions anytime you want. I'll be more happy to answer your questions. Okay, and I hope all of you join for the course, and I assure you that this course will definitely help you get good scores in the exam. Yes, ISTQB. Basically, it's called ISTQB because it's arranged by these courses. They are arranged by ISTQB organization. So he said it's ISTQB. But under ISTQB, we are doing this CTFL. Okay, ISTQB offers 2 sets of certifications. As I said, the foundation level certification and the advanced level certification. So the foundation level certification is what is our course is about, the CTFL. So it comes under the ISTQB organization. So he said it's ISTQB. Yes, ISTQB is basically International Software Testing Qualification Board, and for America, for the US, it's ASTQB. Everything is under ISTQB, but for every country, they have named it differently. Every country has its own website. So for the US, it's ASTQB, American Standard Testing Qualification Board. Everything comes under this International Software Testing Qualification Board. But for the various countries, they have named it differently. That's it. Any questions, guys? I'll once again show you the website name. It's www.astqb.org. So I recommend all of you go to this website, then read all the stuff that's been given on this website regarding the CTFL, the foundation level exam. Okay, we are not concerned right now for the advanced level, just the foundation level exam. Read everything, every information that's been given for this particular certification. In order to register, you need, in order to schedule your exam, you need to first register on that particular website. Okay. astqb.org. Yeah, so here you will have this ISTQB exam syllabus. First of all, you can download this foundation level syllabus here. Okay. They have also introduced a third type of exam, as I can see here, ISTQB expert level. It's the test management certification syllabus. It's the third level, it's the third type of exam that we have introduced. But all of these exams, the advanced level and expert based exams, they need some kind of testing experience, and also they need to need you to have the foundation level certification cleared for that. And here you can see the electronic based exams, the scheduled public based exams. Here you can see what are the various locations. Here, see, these are the public exams locations and the dates on which they are conducted and the timings and etc. Okay. So for anything, for scheduling the public based exam or for the computer based exam, you need to register first here. You need to create your ID here, and then you can go ahead and schedule your exam. So once we are done with our course within a week's time, or say within 15 days, I recommend you to schedule for the exam and give the exam, because everything is fresh in your mind, the concepts are fresh in your mind, and there's a tempo for giving the exam, and in a way it helps you clear the exam with good scores. So within a week's time or within 15-20 days, you must appear for the exam, for the actual exam. Okay, any questions, guys? So go through the website. Any questions, any queries, any doubts in your minds, don't hesitate to email me. Okay. Yeah, you're most welcome to email me anytime. Okay. So I hope all of you joined for the course, and I assure you that we'll be taking lots of practice here in the course, and that will definitely help you get good scores for your exam. Sure, the timings, we will definitely work them out. Let's discuss that with Nandu as well. Nandu will discuss that with me, and everybody, whoever is having comfortable timings, we can start the course then. Okay. So thank you very much for attending this demo session, and I hope you guys join the course soon, so that we can start the course immediately once you register for the course. So every details for registration, the schedule, everything, the fees, everything will just communicate with Nandu, and Nandu will let you know about all the details that you need for the course. Okay. Thanks so much for attending, guys, and see you all. Hope to see you all for the coming course. Thanks much, and have a good night.